That really doesn't have the same energy.
No, but I kind of dig it.
I want to sing like In Your Eyes over it or something like that.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Disney Morning Show, where all sorts of things are changing. I got different intro music. I got Luke with me instead of Doobie. Hi, Luke.
Hi. It's like a musical chairs of hosts this week.
It is. We're trying different combinations. It's kind of like when Kelly Ripa had to be with a bunch of different people until they found the right house.
George Bush's daughter right now on the Today Show.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
Jenna Bush. It's
Bush,
yes. Jenna and Friends.
Jenna Bush Hanger? Is that her other name? Hager. Anyway, we're going to stop talking about more popular and successful morning shows and get on with ours. And we're going to start this one the way we do every show. So when we checked in on the stock yesterday, it was at $90.04. Let's see how it's doing right now. Oh, apparently this doesn't have Luke on that thing. So there we go. 90.78. Let me give it a refresh, see if it's gone up or down at all. Down a little bit. 90.65. Yeah, not too bad.
I mean, at least it's up from yesterday.
Yeah, that's always something.
That's all you can ask for.
So Ethan called out sick today, and so instead, Luke and I are just going to guess the weather. We're pretty well educated. So Anaheim, probably sunny, maybe a little bit overcast. I hear that I think it's a little gloomy today. June's coming a little early. It's May now, so you got that June gloom starts a little early. So I'm going to say upper 60s, low 70s.
Fortunately, I have the Anaheim weather.
Oh, that's no fun. I
well,
do too, but
I was gonna see if you were right.
Okay.
You said upper 60s, low 70s.
I'm gonna say high of 73.
74.
Oh, okay. Slightly warmer. Walt Disney World. How's it? You just tell me what's it like over there right now?
You know, it's warm, but it hasn't got to that time of the year where it's awfully humid yet. So it's going to be hot and sunny in the day, but you're not going to be sweating as much as you will be in the summer. So today it's a high of 88 with a low of 65 at night.
All right. Well, and then the islands are probably upper 70s and windy. Disneyland Paris is probably falling into the 60s.
When you said islands, my mind immediately went to Islands of Adventure, and I was like, it's going to be the same weather. It's the same town.
At the Islands Burger in Burbank, California, it's going to be around 79. And yeah, anyway, let's move on to get to what's happening. Let's say some hellos too, Luke, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking that too. Genie Plus Plus, good morning. Geo, hello. Groovy countdown from Nikki B. I would say groovy is a good word for it. I wouldn't say it's as groovy.
Really? I don't know if I'd say groovy. I think it's more Delilah.
Hey there, Delilah.
Not that Delilah.
And happy May Day from Steven.
Hello.
It's going to be May.
We're
not going to play that because, copyright strike.
No, the entire reason that we're doing all this crap is that we don't get copyright claim. But anyway, speaking of music, you can now attend a Powerline concert for yourself, correct?
Yeah.
Sorry, I realized this is your story as I started talking.
You are absolutely correct on that. I just watched Goofy movie for the first time in years this past week.
Okay.
And if you, like me, want to put yourself into the world of a Goofy movie, then you can now do so with a VR version of the Powerline, the iconic Powerline concert at the end of the film, where Powerline, Max, and Goofy come out and perform eye to eye. So that is available in 360 degrees on YouTube with an introduction from or at least I don't know if it's on the YouTube video, but I saw an introduction from Tevin Campbell, who is
Oh,
the singing voice of Powerline. I think it was on TikTok or something like that.
that's fun. Yeah, so let me
Yeah,
show people how this works, assuming that it'll work for me on here. Um,
and I'll sing Eye to Eye.
so you can
If they
kind of
listen
actually
to
grab the camera and move it around, and as you do, you'll notice, like, especially if you're wearing headphones, that the sound kind of moves around based on the point of view. Yay, Disney Plus! Yay, stream it on Disney Plus!
make
So
sure
yeah,
he
it's pretty
buys.
fun. I hear it works even better on mobile, but yeah, you can look not just 360 degrees, but you can look all the way up and all the way down. So pretty fun.
And I'm sure this would be especially awesome if you have one of those cool Apple VR headsets or any sort of VR headset.
Yeah, MetaQuest, all those good ones.
Mm-hmm.
So next up, we've got some news that Josh D'Amaro, the head of Disney Experiences, is going to be participating in the 2025 MoffettNathanson Media, Internet, and Communications Conference. This will be happening on May 14th in just a couple weeks at 9:40 in the morning Eastern, 6:40 Pacific time. And if you missed that, don't worry. We'll be live blogging it on Laughing Place, and so you can just come check in whenever you wake up, see what's happening, if anything. These aren't usually huge news things, but there is some interesting insights that occasionally comes out of it. And Disney's participated this in quite a few times. We've had Bob last year, and I think Christine McCarthy was two years in a row before
Right.
that one. So yeah, be sure to follow along as we bring you anything from that on May 14th. But we have breaking news about Stitch. They are going to be having specially marked Spam Classic Lilo and Stitch themed cans available. They released this fun TikTok. You could see as they're showing off all these cans of Spam, which is funny because we talked about Spam yesterday.
I thought you did. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, because Eric got that new spiced ham meal that they have at Bengal Barbecue at Disneyland.
Mhm.
And we're like, well, they can't call it Spam. But now they have a partnership with Spam, so they should really just go ahead and brand that meal. So you can look for that at your local grocery store.
Personally, I can't think of Spam without thinking of Monty Python. It's the immediate thought when it comes to Spam. Also, I don't think I've ever had Spam.
Yeah, I don't. That does not surprise me that you haven't. I don't believe I've had it either. And it's funny to see now that people actually like it. I don't think anyone just eats it like out of the can, but like when you fry it and stuff, it seems like maybe it's good. But I mean, it's a product that is so bad that we use it to mean junk. Like that can't be good, right? But everyone's like, oh my god, Spam Musubi. I'm so in love.
Yeah, Spam Musubi has become really popular. That's interesting.
Yeah. But speaking of popular, some popular television programs are returning to ABC.
They sure are. As you can tell, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire is among those. ABC has revealed their summer lineup, and it seems pretty small. Maybe there will be more to it, but we've got Who Wants to Be a Millionaire coming back, hosted by Jimmy Kimmel once again on July 23rd. Bachelor in Paradise is coming back on July 7th. And this season is going to include cast members from all throughout the franchise, including the Golden Bachelor. So there's going to be some older people in it too. We also have Match Game coming back, which I believe you guys talked about yesterday.
Yeah, with Martin Short, Dewey's favorite person.
I like Alec Baldwin, but I think Martin Short is a better choice for a show like that. And then two other things coming back are Celebrity Family Feud on July 10th, and a personal favorite of mine on the same day, Press Your Luck, hosted by Elizabeth Banks.
Nice. I like Press Your Luck. I don't love this format that they do for it. They stretched it. It's an hour-long show, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and they make the second half like kind of not emotional per se, but they kind of put in some personalized prizes and stuff. And the show for me, it's too stressful for it to do that, because they
Okay.
almost inevitably lose something that they were looking forward to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't necessarily enjoy that.
Yeah, I have seen a little bit of the classic Pressure Luck, but not really much, and maybe not even before I saw the modern version. So I guess that's what I'm used to. So it doesn't feel as weird to me, but it definitely does feel a little stretched out. You know, it maybe would be better if they had if it was like Jeopardy Masters or something where they just do
Mhm.
2 games in 1 hour.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, you can catch all those returning shows on ABC this summer. And speaking of the summer, I don't know. Disney World kicked off the summer with they're celebrating the Week of Wishes, and they had their Once Upon a Wish party for several Make-A-Wish kids, and some adorable photos and videos coming out of that. I'm sure you've seen some of them. These are just a few, but lots of magic being made over at the Walt Disney World Resort and around the world. We got some things from Paris, some other videos from even past wishes. I saw one where the girl got to meet Sebastian Stan, who plays Bucky. Got to go to the Thunderbolt set, and yeah, so lots of heartwarming content out there.
Did they?
You can check out this one on Laughing Place.
Did they get to meet Sebastian Stan with Sebastian? I think that would
That
have
would
been
have
fun.
been fun.
At
Yeah.
Sebastian's Bistro.
No, see, they could have compounded the Sebastians, but they did not. I should have put this story after the last one, because this also involves ABC.
Yeah, you know, I had the segue ready to go, and then I realized we had the story in between.
Well, I just kind of paste them. I don't always think it through.
Yeah, you know, that's all right. We forgive you. I don't know who we are, but the audience.
Reviewers, yeah. We have a few.
Now, for fans of Desperate Housewives, this was a long-running show on ABC. It's been reported by Deadline that a reimagining is in the works, which is tentatively titled Wisteria Lane, which was the street that the housewives lived on.
And you can visit on Universal Studios.
Yeah, still there. Although almost every time I go on the studio tour, it bypasses it because they use that street very often for filming. But this reimagining is being described as quote unquote fun, sexy, darkly comedic soap mystery in the vein of the original series, and is being written by the Flight Attendant, which is an HBO series. Someone from that show, Natalie Scheides.
Yeah, she is the showrunner, at least for the second season of Flight Attendant, which is a pretty fun show. I recommend it.
Yeah, that's one that's been on my list, but I never really got around to it.
Yeah, Kelly Cuoco stars.
Yes, I could not remember her name.
Yeah. We also got some news about a second season of Shogun. It is going to be starting production next January, so you're not going to be seeing this season anytime soon. But it is going to be underway, and they did give away a few of the first details. This second part will take place 10 years after the conclusion of the first season, and further explore the historically inspired narrative of two men from vastly different backgrounds whose destinies are deeply interconnected. So Shogun coming to Hulu probably in like a year and maybe a year and a half.
Yeah, probably close to like 2 years at this point, if it's not
starting until January.
Until January, yeah. Doobie says, fun fact, which if he says it's a fun fact,
he's allowed to deem it. Yeah,
it must be a fun fact. That there is a street named Wisteria Lane in Celebration.
I can believe it, because there's only so many flowers. Lots of roads tend to be named after flowers, and then there's only lane, road, drive, avenue. So many street type names.
Gotta make it work.
We got some interesting news from Disneyland, where our own Eric was there yesterday, and they've now have some trash cans that are not only designated for food scraps only, but they've marked them with these adorable and eye-catching little figures. So over at Galactic Grill, you have a BD droid, and then there's a couple in Cars Land. There's one near Flo's V8 Cafe. It looks like is it supposed to be like a engine or a radio, speedometer, some sort of car thing.
Yeah, I think I said it was a jukebox, and now I'm realizing
Okay.
I might be wrong. But
well, it's a car. It might be a jukebox in the world of cars. It's hard to. Yeah. I don't know exactly what it is, but it looks nice. And then this one's a little bit. It's well themed, but just not as exciting. This one's over at the Cozy Cone. Yeah.
Yeah, these are so cool. I really like the as it has a fit.
No, I'm trying to swipe back. I'm used to my gestures, and that causes it to freak out.
But I really like the robot one. You said it was a BD droid. Is that from WALL-E?
No, it's Star Wars, but it's it's like the BD1 or BDX droids, the ones that they've been walking around the park.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Noted.
There you go. But let's move on.
And I've had my share of bad reviews. I still remember my first good one, though. Everything else in this production of Our Town was simply terrible. Joey Tribbiani was abysmal.
Not going to do the segue because Tony is a big fan of Big City Greens, and they are about to air their 100th episode, and Tony got a sneak peek of it and wrote a review. His headline is Big City Greens carries heart and humor into its 100th episode. His subhead, this is the second longest running Disney Channel animated series after Phineas and Ferb for a reason. And his final paragraph, or part of his final paragraph, expect the rare full run of time allotted for this episode, something we've only seen a handful of times during Halloween and Christmas episodes. And unlike those, there are no big gimmicks like the virtually Christmas episode, as good as they are. These are just fun adventures with the Greens and their usual format. Just like the rest of the series, the episode is packed with humor, visual gags, and most importantly, a big dose of heart. It's the perfect summation of this. Summation. I thought it was doing a pun. It's just a real word. Summation of the series thus far, and leaves everything open for all the Greens fun that lies ahead. And there's a lot of it ahead. I give this special episode 4 out of 5 kaiju fights. So there you go. I believe that is airing this
Saturday.
Yep, that's what I was going to say, but I'm like, I could just scroll to the bottom of the episode and find out. May 3rd at 8 p.m. Normally,
I'm not too aware of Big City Greens and all the other Disney Channel stuff, but I wrote an article on it yesterday. So this one time only, I know that it will also be on Disney Plus on May 7th.
Exactly. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But now let's go on to
And the Rest.
The Rest, where we talk about the rest, including things that people don't realize are Disney, such as Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, would you believe the Rocky Horror Picture Show is, technically part of the Disney umbrella? And because of that,
I would believe that, but I didn't know that it was 50 years old.
Yeah. That's a little insane. But yeah, Rocky, something hard to say fast 5 times in a row. The Rocky Horror Picture Show was first released in 1975, and we'll be getting a newly restored and remastered edition coming out on 4K Ultra HD later this year. So I believe that will be they didn't specifically say whether it's a DVD and Blu-ray release or if it's going to be for, Hulu or Disney Plus, but it is coming.
And you get this new logo with Columbia's top hat on top of the lips. I'm sure these words mean tons to you.
No, I've seen Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yeah. Okay. No, I've seen and enjoy it. I would say that I have great anticipation for this release.
Well, you're supposed to say anticipation.
I was also thinking about getting real close to the camera, but then decided that would probably be weird, so I didn't.
Yeah. Well, if you're a fan of cult comedy or cult films like Rocky Horror, then you should know that there's a special D23 screening of The Emperor's New Groove for its 25th anniversary. This is going to be held at a few different locations for the chain Fork and Film in London, New York, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and Portland. And if you're not familiar, let me tell you, this is not just like the Fork and Screen at AMC where you watch a movie and you order your chicken parm. No. This is a full culinary experience, and it's themed to the movie. I don't know to what depth, but it's going to be like high-end food. And because of that, you might be surprised to go on and see that pricing for this, it does vary by location. But for example, Los Angeles, $179.99 plus a ticket fee for general admission, or if you want to bump up to VIP, that's $224.99 plus the ticket fee. The cheapest one that Tony and I found was in Portland, where it's going to be $152.99. Actually, that's not true. That's true for Portland, plus a ticket fee, but London is the cheapest, but you have to go to London. So it suddenly becomes less cheap.
Hey, there's been very cheap flights I hear on Norse Airlines. And so, pay a 20, 30 bucks extra and maybe a little bit more, but at least you get the trip out of London to it.
There you go. So yeah, these screenings are in this June, but how we did, Rebecca noticed that at several of these locations, they're going to be having other Disney movies coming up in their lineup, similarly priced. I did check out the Vegas one for Grease, and same sort of a thing where you're going to be paying a tall price for this experience, but it sounds like it should be memorable at least. But next up, we have a follow-up to a story we talked about a little bit earlier, but now we have our own photos, Luke.
We sure do. This is something that is sure to be an annoyance for visitors to Disney California Adventure. The connection between Avengers Campus and Cars Land is going to be closed for a year or two or three as they start to build Avengers Infinity Defense and Stark Flight Lab, the two new attractions for Avengers Campus. So similar to when when Avengers Campus was being constructed, that whole time this pathway was blocked off. So if you're in Cars Land and you decide you want to go to Avengers Campus, you're going to have to head all the way onto the main street, the performance corridor of California Adventure, and then head into Avengers Campus through that way. So something to be aware of when planning your day at Disney California Adventure. Totally forgot about the new video.
Yeah.
Same thing, but in person.
Yeah, from Tokyo. We just talked about the 100th episode of Big City Greens, but there's even more to discover. Tony got to chat with the series creators. I want to say Jeff, because we have a local guy named Jeff. Shane and Chris Houghton. Yes. Brothers, I think. They created the series. You got to talk to both of them. This was Tony and Benji got to talk to them. You can see it's a lengthy interview. So if you don't feel like reading this all, even though you should, you can listen to it on tomorrow's episode of the LP On Balance podcast hitting your feeds sometime tomorrow, which is probably why I shouldn't go see Thunderbolts tonight and work on that instead. But speaking of Thunderbolts, see, I made myself a segue.
You really did that. That was great.
This is Rebecca, my Rebecca, put together a roundup of some of the Thunderbolts merchandise as part of her Briley Necessities that they did the other day, which you can find on this YouTube channel. But yeah, not a ton of Thunderbolts merchandise, but there's just enough so you can look back at some of the times the characters appeared in other films. There's still merchandise available, like here Ant-Man and the Wasp has Ghost is in Thunderbolts. So there you go. So be sure to check that out. And then finally, Luke, you got to go do something fun yesterday.
Yeah, this was a fun time. I got to experience Expedition Odyssey, which is SeaWorld Orlando's brand new flying theater attraction. If you remember Wild Arctic, which was like a very Star Tours-esque simulator, it's taking over for that. And the entrance signage is very similar to how the Wild Arctic one was back in the day. But yeah, this was a really cool experience. We got to walk through the queue, which is, kind of bare bones, a little basic. It has a collection of like Arctic wildlife photography on the queue.
This looks like the land right before you go into the greenhouse.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you come across, you get to one of two theaters, and they're set up in a similar way to, if anyone's ever done the Lego movie simulator at Legoland, Florida, or Legoland, California, I think as well. So basically you load in on one side, and it's like a seat row of 14, and then behind you facing the other way is another row of 14, and they're looking out at and experiencing the ride while you're loading. And then when the film finishes, you rotate round, which sometimes if the loading group isn't ready, you're just left sitting watching the screen for an extra 5 minutes, which is exactly what happened to me yesterday. But you are a little reclined while doing it, so it was a nice little break. But I also got to sit down with, quite literally, Connor Carr, who is let me get his title right, the Corporate Director of Rides and Engineering at United Parks. Nice. I got to sit with him on the ride and talk about it. So this was my first time riding the ride. So I was kind of paying attention to the ride, but mostly paying attention to Connor himself. And he tells us a little bit about the ride and what's going on, as you can see here in this video. It was a very interesting experience, something fun to do, and I'm glad I got to do it. But yeah, Connor had a lot of cool insight, and like the fact that there's a few CGI effects, but all of the animals and the creatures that you see in the film are all real. Like there's a moment where a polar bear is on the snow and he slides down a hill, and they just happen to capture the polar bear doing that.
So unlike Soarin', where a similar scene plays out.
Yeah. My biggest critique about it is that they used a lot of drone footage, and there are a lot of scenes where it feels very shaky. Very like, just it shakes, and it kind of takes you out of it a little bit. But for the most part, it's enjoyable. Is it as good as Soarin'? No, but for SeaWorld, it's great.
Grading on a SeaWorld curve.
Well, it's also, it's something different for SeaWorld too, which I really appreciate. Because the last 3 years, they've added 3 new coasters, which is fantastic and wonderful. But this gives them something indoors that families can enjoy all together, and something very different. So I think overall it's a welcome addition to SeaWorld Orlando. And I'm sure / hope we'll probably get it in San Diego and maybe San Antonio too.
Probably. Yeah, you can check out Luke's full write-up over on the site, or check out his video right here on YouTube. The fun stuff. And from one,
change that to it's going to be May today.
Sorry.
Yeah.
From one non-Disney park to another non-Disney park, I wanted to share this fun stuff, which comes to us from Universal Studios Hollywood. They had some people involved with Star Trek over the years to come check out what they're doing for Fan Fest night. So you got LeVar Burton and Will Wheaton. Jerry O'Connell was there. And Will Wheaton. Yeah. Very fun as they got to revisit this recreation of the set and stuff like that. So I think that qualifies as fun stuff.
And this is how I learned that Jerry O'Connell was in Star Trek.
Yeah, and I know that he and Will Wheaton were in Stand By Me. I thought maybe he just was his +1, but I guess not.
Yeah.
All right, Luke. On this day in 19 55, an animator, film director, and voice actor, was born. His Disney credits include Aladdin, Pocahontas, Hercules, Fantasia 2000, The Emperor's New Groove, The Fox and the Hound 2, The Princess and the Frog, and Wreck-It Ralph.
Is this Eric Goldman?
That is
No,
close.
That's our guy. Eric Goldberg.
Yes, Eric Goldberg is who that. It might be Eric Goldman's birthday. I don't know when his birthday is. I should ask him. On this day.
Welcome to the show, Fred.
Hi, Fred.
All right,
nice to see you.
You
You're just in time for your favorite segment.
And once it's over, you can always scroll back and watch the rest.
It's true. On this day in 1977, something was added to Walt Disney World, and here's a hint: christened by its namesake.
Christened. Okay, 1977.
Yes.
Is it
early
the
days
Empress
of Walt.
Is it the Empress Lily?
It is the Empress Lily, christened by Walt's widow.
I saw your eyes get very impressed there. You're like,
I was impressed.
Man.
Yeah, good pull.
Yeah.
Empress Lily, which is now what, Fulton's? Is that what it's called?
No, it's not Fulton's anymore. It was Fulton's for a while, but now it's Paddlefish.
Paddlefish. Okay, I can't remember the order of those two things.
I think Empress Lily was before my time,
and
never ate at Fulton's, but I have eaten at Paddlefish once. And I remember it being pretty decent.
Well, here's an easy one for you. On this day in 1989, something opened at Walt Disney World.
Disney MGM Studios, as some people still call it.
Disney MGM Studios, now known as Disney's Hollywood Studios. Happy birthday. I'm sure they released a cupcake for you, but I haven't really seen anything else happening.
I haven't seen anything. But I do need to. I think this is.
Did they put a party hat on an alien cookie?
No, not yet.
Oh.
This is definitely going to be a month's worth of Hollywood Studios visits for me because Muppets is closing in about a month. And we got 2 brand new shows coming too. So I think I'll be heading there pretty often.
Yeah, sounds like it. On this day in 2015, Marvel released a film.
Ant-Man?
No.
2015 Guardians of the Galaxy?
Nope.
Age of Ultron?
Age of Ultron, yes. First weekend in May was their big tent pole for a while, and Avengers Age of Ultron was what they released. And then finally, on this day in 2020, a show arrived on Disney Plus.
I feel like I saw something about this recently, but I can't. What kind of show?
A docuseries that you can no longer watch on Disney Plus.
Was it that one that we found something about? Prop culture?
Prop culture, yes. And as you just alluded to, by complete happenstance, my wife got served in her thing, like her YouTube feed yesterday, clips that they're now putting from Prop Culture up on Cinema Relics, their channel, which is actually what the original name of Cinema, when they announced that they were doing this series way back in the day, it was going to be called Cinema Relics. So yeah, we noticed there's a few clips that looks like they've been posted over the past month or so. So you got Tron, you have the interview with Rick Moranis. So if you're missing that show and mourning the fact that you can no longer watch it on Disney Plus, head on over to the Cinema Relics YouTube channel, and you can.
It was a good show. Yeah.
Those glory days. Yeah, it was a good show. I was hoping for more, and instead we got less.
But I did really enjoy Light and Magic. I know it's a somewhat different topic, but I watched that series over the last week and very enjoyable. The second season of it.
We have breaking pocket pick news. So let me see how I can do this. I can do
I don't know if I've ever seen those two tags together.
I like to experiment. So we just got this, which let's take a look. I will unmute.
Hey, you haven't seen the... It's okay. Hey.
That must have been such a fun video to film. That's
Yeah,
so
so
cool.
obviously that's David Harbour who plays Red Guardian, meeting Red Guardian, and you can meet Red Guardian tomorrow at Disney California Adventure. We will, of course, be on the scene, so you'll check out our video and things like that. But other than that, that's it for today's show. Luke, do you have anything to add before we go?
Did we wish Fred Ramirez a happy birthday?
I missed that comment. Let's wish Fred Ramirez a happy birthday.
Well, he said that he and Eric Goldberg share a birthday. So if it's Eric Goldberg's birthday today, then it's Fred Ramirez's birthday today.
It sounds like an SAT question when you put it that way, but I think you're right.
We can also find out how old Fred Ramirez is by him sharing that it was his 18th birthday when Avengers: Age of Ultron came out.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
wait.
yeah.
Oh, that's a little bit more math. Okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
we're gonna wrap this up before my head explodes. Have a great day, everyone. We should be back. Doobie and I should be back tomorrow, and we'll talk to you then. Bye.